Hi, friends, and welcome back to Beyond the Screen, the Family Connection podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Samantha Hayes, educator, parent, and founder of Beyond the Screen Families. And today we're diving into something that I'm pretty passionate about and something that sits at the very center and core of everything we do here at Beyond the Screen Families. And that is curiosity. Because curiosity is what drives learning. It's what fuels creativity. It's what helps kids stay engaged with the real world. But here's what I'm seeing more and more, both as an educator and as a parent. Curiosity is getting quieter, not because kids aren't capable. In fact, when we let curiosity thrive, I see it all the time. Kids get excited. They start to dive in. They do what they did with me today, which when I said, okay, we need to go have lunch and stop building our board games, they didn't want to stop. It's not because kids aren't capable. It's because they're not always getting the space to practice it. And I'm sure you can see that all the time. It's our need to fill every single minute. It's the idea that kids always need to be entertained. It's the fact that no matter what's happening, there's a screen, usually within the vicinity. And those things aren't good for curiosity. So today I want to walk you through how to intentionally build curiosity at home. Because I do that with kids all the time. And all of the enrichments that we do, we build and foster curiosity. But the time kids spend with me is very minimal in the grand scheme of things. So I want to talk you through how to build it at home. And it's with simple, screen-free, STEAM-based approaches that fit into your life, because you know I am not about adding one more thing that's going to stress you out. So let's talk initially about redefining what curiosity is so that we are all on the same page when we're approaching and listening to this podcast. Curiosity is not knowing the right answer. Curiosity is not about asking questions on command or completing structured activities. And there's a lot of those structured activities out there marketed as curiosity. Curiosity is actually the desire to figure something out. It might sound like, I wonder, or what would happen if, or why does it work this way? Curiosity thrives when there's no immediate answer, when there's space to explore and dive in and discover, and there's no pressure to be right. The moment we over direct, over explain, or rush to answer, curiosity shrinks. Think about that for just a second. So then how do screens impact curiosity? Because you know, I believe screens are not the enemy, but they do change how curiosity develops. Most digital experiences are designed to provide answers quick, to keep kids moving forward, and that's intentional on purpose because it hits on the dopamine receptors in your brain, and to eliminate the friction. Because if something is too hard, kids will stop. Adults stop half the time too, right? But curiosity needs friction. It needs it. It needs pauses, uncertainty, moments of not knowing. It needs to try and fail and try again. When kids are constantly consuming content, they have fewer opportunities to ask their own questions, to test their own ideas, and to explore without a clear outcome. So, again, this isn't and never is about removing screens completely, because we are all about balance. It's about making sure curiosity still has space to grow and thrive. So I'm going to give you 5 curiosity builders that are super simple that you can do starting today. Number 1, ask better questions. And if you're like, what? What is she talking about? Hold up. You know, I've got examples for you. So instead of giving answers, shift to open-ended questions. So if a kid, for example, my son was just looking at roly-polies, and this one was running all over the place, and then all of a sudden he like dove into the grass. And my son said, "Why does he do that?" And I said, "I don't know. Why don't we watch him and see what happens?" Just that little open piece, that curiosity spark of my own, triggered him to sit down and start observing the roly-poly and what he was doing and the fact that he preferred shade over sunshine and what that might mean. You might ask things like, "What do you notice?" Or "What do you think will happen? How could we try that differently?" Just those questions invite thinking, and that's where curiosity lives. Answers end thinking. Questions invite. So think about the next time you're with your child, how you might flip an answer, even if you know the answer, how you might flip it into a question for your child to explore, observe, predict, all of those things to get their brain really thinking. Number 2 is leaving problems unfinished. And I'll be honest, this one is even hard for me because I want to finish things. And so I have to remind myself to step back because I don't have to solve everything. And we as parents don't have to solve everything. If something doesn't work, pause. Pausing is one of the most powerful things you can do. Let your child sit with it. Because curiosity grows when kids have to figure things out by themselves. The power's in the pause. I'm telling you right now, the power's in the pause for so many things in life. It's a huge curiosity builder, particularly for kids too. Number 3 is use open-ended materials. And I post about this and I talk about this a lot, about the value in open-ended materials. STEAM learning thrives with materials that don't have one purpose. Think things like cardboard boxes, tape, blocks, recyclables, popsicle sticks, pom-poms. Those things are amazing. Pieces of wood, if you have those lying around. There are so many things in our world that are open-ended bottles, empty bottles that have been used, egg cartons. Like I could go on and on. I have a cabinet full of open-ended materials. And when I teach enrichment, I have a bucket just full. It's actually a pretty big bin full of open-ended materials. And the kids know with me that they have access to all of that with whatever we're doing. And they'll be like, "Can I have a pom pom? Can I have a cotton ball? Can I have some of these sticks?" Sure, go ahead. Just having access to that changes things. These materials invite experimentation. The less defined the material, the more creativity it allows. The less defined the material, the more creativity it allows. And I promise you, your kids can play with a cardboard box for hours if given the space to do so. Number four is to normalize trial and error. Curiosity naturally requires some risk. If kids are afraid to get it wrong, they stop trying. So, if you're noticing that your kid isn't really wanting to take those risks and isn't wanting to try and think through what might have happened and how to change it, try modeling this. That didn't work. What could we try next? One simple phrase helps to shift your child's brain from, oh my gosh, I failed, life might be over, to, hmm, what could we do to change this? And that trial and error, that experimentation phase is so important to foster curiosity. It's natural curiosity happening. It's something that's easy for you to do at home with just a shift in language. Or, yeah, you didn't get that yet. The power of yet. Another power phrase right there. Failure becomes part of the process and not something to avoid. Number five is to protect time for exploration. And when I teach enrichment, this is super critical for me. When I'm working with older kids, let's say first graders or something like that, they might be used to filling their time. And so they rush and rush and rush. And they're like, what next? And I'm like, I want you to go back and visit your design again. And just talking them through, like, I want you to pause and reflect and see if there's anything. It might seem a little uncomfortable at first, but after a couple of times, kids just naturally start spending more time in that experimentation and development phase when they know the space is given to them for them to be able to do it. I do this with toddlers too, and I know sometimes it feels uncomfortable. What it feels like, we're sitting with these blocks for a long time, and I might be saying something, the same thing over and over and over again. But that is so intentional to allow that curiosity to naturally foster. Protecting time, not rushing it, not overscheduling it. Kids need space to explore, to tinker, to wonder. Even 15 to 20 minutes of uninterrupted exploration time can make a world of difference. So, what gets in the way at home? You might be like, everything. I hear you, okay? Let's be honest. Curiosity doesn't always fit neatly into daily life. Things get in the way. Busy schedules, pressure to be productive, defaulting to screens for ease. And this is why many parents feel like they're not doing enough. But curiosity doesn't require more time. Think about the five things I told you. It's not about having more time. It's about shifting how we already use it. And I've talked to you a lot about how I do this in enrichments and why kids and parents all love the enrichments that I teach. But I want to make a parallel for you. If you've taken the enrichment and you're like, but I want to do this at home, or you don't live close and you can't take an enrichment and you want to do it at home, that's why we have the Wonder Box. That's why we created it. The Wonder Box is designed to spark curiosity without requiring you to plan or prep. Each box includes open-ended STEAM-inspired invitations that encourage kids to ask questions, to test ideas, to explore concepts, to build confidence through doing. It gives your child the starting point, exactly what I do in enrichment, without taking over the experience. The experience is left to them, for them to work through and figure out on their own. So if you want to make curiosity a more consistent part of your home, the Wonder Box is a simple way to do it. You can get the link in the show notes, go and grab your box, sign up for a subscription, and you'll get the same type of experience that I offer in our high quality enrichment in your own home. An invitation that opens the door for exploration. So I want to leave you with this. Curiosity doesn't need to be taught. Am I going against what you've heard so far? Like, am I going against what others have told you? Curiosity doesn't need to be taught. It's naturally there. It just needs to be protected. When we slow down, step back, and allow our kids the space and freedom to explore, even imperfectly, curiosity grows. And when curiosity grows, learning naturally follows. Thanks for joining me today and spending some of your time with me. Here's to creating more moments that stick. Bye, friends.